Okay, so we're going to review the Lilliebridge method training program. Now, you can buy the actual program from their website. However, I would probably say it's a massive waste of money. I feel like when I bought it, I was conned and scammed because it really is a load of bollocks. But if you really want to, because I've left out some very important things like what songs you should listen to when you're training. Yes, very important things like that. You can always download it and support the family. Now, I'm not going to talk about who these guys are, Eric and all of the Lilliebridge family members and the franchise. You can check that out on my website. But these are serious lifters. These guys have achieved amazing things, set records, won events, dominated. So they're definitely lifters who know what they're doing. They're definitely not natural, I can tell you that one thing for sure, but they are definitely a successful family franchise. So they've got the stats and the numbers and the wins to back up their bullshit. But this training program is pretty dire. Now, I've made this spreadsheet myself because they didn't actually have one. It was just a PDF file giving you an overview of what you need to do. So this is a program I put together myself. This isn't actually their template and their spreadsheet. This was me just analysing what they had written in their PDF document that I paid for, and then just kind of work from there. So let's start with what you need to do first. First thing you need to do is just enter your 1 rep maxes in these cells right here, and then you need to put in this column right here, either 2.5 for kg or 5 for pounds. You must do that. Please do that, because that will change the formula inside. So let's get started. This is the official program. Now, I apologize if it does look a bit chaotic, but this program really isn't very well choreographed and laid out, so it's difficult to analyze this program. So what I've done here is I've outlined a few options. We'll talk about how you want to approach this a bit later. So let's start with week 1. I'm going to sneeze, sorry. Okay, let's start with week 1. So the first thing, day 1, you must do your max effort squat. So I advise that you do a warm-up routine. This is very common for when you're doing this sort of conjugate or max effort style of training. I advise doing a 5-4-3-2, and then you do your top heavy set, which I've outlined as MR, which equals max reps, max weight, max effort. That's what I mean by that. So actually the MR stands for max reps, so you can do that for as many reps as you possibly can. So we work up to that top heavy set, that max effort, max rep set, and that's 87% of our 1 rep max. And then you've got your assistance and accessory exercises below that. You've got your front squats, your pedale rows, your upright rows, and your lying bench leg raises. So you've got your front squats for your legs, you've got your pedale rows for your lats and back, upright rows, just an isolation based exercise, and your lying bench leg raises for your core work. And the final ones here, from pedale rows to lying bench press, these are more, I would consider, assistance exercises, and the front squat would be your accessory exercise, your variation of the main lift. Day 2 is bench focused. Here you do the pause bench press max effort. So again, I advise that you do a warm-up routine. Here I've said 1 set 6, 5, 4, and then you do your max effort work right here, where you do 3 heavy singles, and that's from 75% to 80 to 87% of your 1 rep max for those 3 heavy singles. Okay, and this must be paused as well, so you want to do anywhere from a 2 to 3 second pause. So these aren't touch and go heavy singles that you're doing here, these are pause work. So make sure pause reps, so make sure that you do that, because that's specific to the program. You can't skip that. And then you've got some more max effort work here. You've got four sets of 1 to 2 reps with the slingshot. I haven't actually put how much weight you want to choose. You can choose whatever suits you for this one. Bearing in mind the slingshot makes the exercise much easier, so you might want to do a bit more heavier than this set of 87%, your top heavy set for the heavy triple. You might want to go for 90 to 95%, because you are doing anywhere from 1 to 2 reps. And then you do your accessory exercise, which is kind of a variation pressing exercise, 4 sets of 6 with the incline press. The weight that you want to choose is up to you. And then you've got your 4 isolation assistance exercises, such as the pec fly, the tricep push downs, the side lateral raises, and the lying leg raises. So there we go, that's that. Day 4, you do your speed pull, dead stop deadlifts. Now dead stop, make sure that you do dead stop, you don't touch and go. These are speed pulls, so it's dynamic, they have to be fast, explosive, and you want to make sure that you take little rest between each set. You're doing 3 sets of 3 at 50%. You can possibly put some bands and chains on there, because really, come on, 3 sets of 3 at 50% of your 1 rep max. I think that you're meant to also put some bands and chains on there as well. That's my thought on that. And then you've got your front squats, so you're doing front squats again, and then you've got your isolation assistance exercises for isolating muscle groups and building them up. So at this point, you're kind of thinking, really, is this a powerlifting program? I kind of say this was more of a power building slash bodybuilding program. Yeah, I would probably agree with you on that. I wouldn't really call this a powerlifting program. So let's move on to week 2. So week 2, we're doing deadlift max effort. So last week we did the squat max effort. Now we need to do the deadlift max effort. So we do our warm-up routine, and we do max reps on the top max effort set for 87% of our 1 rep max. Because bear in mind, we haven't done that yet, so we don't increase that to 90% just yet. And then we do front squats again. So that's front squats every week for this first day 1 session. And then we keep to the same routine with our exercises, our assistance exercises, the same reps, the same sets, the same exercises right here. That doesn't change from week 1 all the way to week 8. So I just mentioned that right now. Day 2, this time we're mixing it up. We're doing bench press light, but we're doing it paused if training for a meet. Don't do touch and go if you're not training for a meet. That's what they recommended. You do your warm-up sets, and then you do 1 set of max reps. Yes, that's right, this would be considered volume, and you're doing that for 66% of your 1 rep max. I would advise that you do these paused 2 to 3 second pause reps. Highly advise that. You're probably going to feel like that's not enough volume, even considering that you've just done these warm-up sets, and you're not wrong. Then you do 4 sets of 2 with the 2 to 3 inch board press. You can get like one of these board attachment things on Amazon if you don't have anyone to hold a board on your chest when you're doing this. I would advise that, or if you're not comfortable using the board press, then maybe you could use the slingshot again, maybe something else like a reverse band. But please do make sure with the board press, if you're going to use the new sort of concept where you attach a block to the bar, please bear in mind that if you fail the rep, it's stuck. You can't squeeze out of it. It's really difficult to drop the bar onto a safety rack, safety rail, and then try and maneuver out of it. So my advice would be to have a spotter. Now, bearing in mind here, you're doing 4 sets of 2. Choose a sensible weight here. It doesn't specify how much weight you should use. That's kind of what you should instinctively know what you need to use based on the size of the board that you're using, and you know roughly what you need to do. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. Now, what I do here is I switch it up with our second accessory exercise on this day. Previous week we did an incline, now we're going to do floor press, and we just kind of switch between the two for the full 8 weeks. We kind of just 1 week incline, floor, incline, floor, incline, floor, and that way we just mix it up a little bit. And we also mix up some of the isolation assistance exercises. You can see that now I've decided to choose the incline press. The previous week we did pec deck flies. We keep the tricep push downs or press downs, however you want to word it. And now we're changing the shoulder exercise from the side laterals to the rear delt flies. But we're going to keep the lying bench leg raises consistent throughout the program. That's what they recommended anyway. 3 sets of 20 to 30 reps. Personally, I would mix that up. Maybe do some crunches, maybe do some lying leg raises as they mentioned, maybe some oblique crunches, maybe some planking, stuff like that. You might want to mix that up because this could get a bit boring, but that's up to you. And then day 4, this time we are doing pause squats, 3 sets of 3. Now the pause can be 2 to 3 seconds, probably 3 seconds, because we are doing 3 sets of 3 at 50%. Yeah, that's right, not a lot. Front squat stays the same, and all the exercises, assistance, isolation exercises stay the same. And now we're going to switch back to our squat, and that's what we do. Week 1, 3, 5 and 7 we do max effort work for the squat, and the other weeks we do deadlift. So we alternate between the two each week. So we alternate our max effort work on day 1 between the squat and the bench, and you do that for the full 8 weeks. Everything else is the same. I don't really need to go, but this time obviously we've increased it to 90%. You can see up here in the formula bar. So previously week 1 we were doing 87. This week we are now doing 90. And if we go to the next week, we can see that we're doing 92, and then when we go to week 7, when we're next doing that, you can see we're doing 95. So we're just increasing it each week that we do this max effort work. So that's something you need to bear in mind. That applies for the deadlift as well. So I'm going to stop talking about that now, because now I've drilled that concept. We're going to leave that, go on to the next day. Okay, so again, same principle applies. We're going to do the same exercises that we did week 1. So we're going to rotate that week on, week off, week on, week off. So we're doing pause, bench press, and again we're doing 3 heavy singles, and we're doing the same percentages as we did the first week when we did this. 77, 85, 90. I'm pretty positive that's the exact same. Okay, no, it's not. The first set is different. No, actually we've increased the intensity. I apologize for that. I don't remember that being the case. Yeah, and we increased that each week, as you can see. So yeah, for the pause work, we do increase that as well. For the pause bench press, you can see that there, that we are increasing it each week, each time we do this exercise. So bear in mind. And then we kind of mix up we go back to week 1's accessory and assistance exercises. So there we go. It's kind of confusing because this program really isn't very logical, if you ask me. That's why I made a little bit of an error there, because personally I would say you would probably keep that pause bench max effort work consistent throughout the program, and maybe change some other variables, maybe pause for longer, or maybe do a spodo or something like that. But hey, I'm gonna leave it at that. That's why I thought that would remain consistent. You might actually want to skip their concept of increasing the max effort bench work each week, and actually maybe just keep it consistent but change the variation. But that's what I would do, but that's not what this program does, so we'll leave that at that. And then we've reverted back to the slingshot, the incline press, the peg flies, and we've gone for front raises now. So we've done our side laterals, our rears, and now we're going to do our front raises. Now we're going to go back to doing the speed pull deadlifts. Again, you can use bands and chains with this, because again, even though it's 55% for 3 sets of 3, it's still not a lot of volume for a very low percentage of our 1 rep max. You might want to use some light bands and light chains for that, but again, that's up to you. And everything else remains the same. This is the final one I'm going to talk about before jumping to week 9. So as you can see, we're using the same routine as we did in week 2. We're using the same in week 4, and we will do in 6 and 8 as well. But you can see now we've increased the max rep, max effort set to 90. Previously it was 87, now it's 90. We're going to keep all the accessory and assistance exercises the same. Nothing's changed there. Day 2, we are doing our light bench press. Now again, it did say if you're training for a meet, or if you're not training for a meet, this would determine whether you pause or touch and go. My advice would be to make sure that you pause this one for 2 to 3 seconds. This time we've increased it. Before it was 60, I believe it was 66. Now we're at 70%, and you can do that for max reps. MR stands for max reps. Just 1 set of max reps. That's right. And now we're going to be doing our board pressing again for 4 sets of 2. Be sensible with this. Choose a weight that you know you can do for 4 sets of 2 safely without failing the lift. And then we're going to go back to the full press again, 4 sets of 6. This time we're going to go back to the side lateral for the shoulder work. Everything else remains the same. We're going to do our dumbbell incline press. So we're going to do dumbbell incline press instead of pec flies. So as I said before, that changes each week. And then we're going to do our pause squats. Now my microphone is in a really annoying position, so I apologize that I'm kind of stopping and starting. It's blocking my screen, but I don't want to move it because you're going to hear the microphone suddenly make a loud bang noise. So anyway, here we're doing 3 sets of 3 at 55%. Previous time we did this exercise we did 50%. Now the pause work again, you probably a 3-second pause. You might want to do some resistance, put some bands and chains on that. That would be my advice, up to you though. Everything else remains the same as all the previous weeks, all the accessory and assistance work. Now I'm going to now jump to week 8. This is the final week before we start changing the formula, changing the routine. And now we go to week 9. Now based on whether you're doing this, you're competing in week 11, or you're not competing, or you're just chasing a PR, this will change your routine. So if in week 9 you are competing in week 11, so you're running this program for a competition, why you would do that I don't know, but they seem to think that this program will get you ready for a meet. I don't think it does, but that's my thoughts. You're going to deload, so you can do 3 sets of 8 at 50%. That's what I suggest. And you don't do any accessory or assistance exercises. None of these exercises right here, from the front squats to the lying leg raises. Just 3 sets of 8. And then day 2, you're going to do your bench press opener. So you're going to chase your opener for your competition. So that's the first set you're going to do on competition day for the bench press. So you're going to work up to that and try and work out what that's going to be. And from there you can determine your second and third attempts. Then you're going to don't do any exercises, any assistance, accessory, variation exercises. Day 4, you're going to deadlift, deload, 3 sets of 5 I recommended for 65% of your 1 rep max. And again, don't do any accessory lifts. Now if you were not doing a competition in week 11 and you're just merely chasing a PR, then this day you're going to hit a new PR. You're going to hit a new squat PR. That's the goal of this session. You're not going to do any accessory exercises. Day 2, you're going to hit a PR in the gym for your bench press, and you're not going to do any accessory or assistance work. And day 4, you're going to rest. But this session, I advise maybe that you do some accessory and assistance exercises. How many you want to do is up to you. And then if you are competing in week 11, then you take week 10 to just rest, okay? Not do any deloading, any work at all. Maybe just some mobility, stretching, some very light cardiovascular exercise. That's it. But if you are not competing in week 11 and you just hit your PR, then this week the only thing you're going to do on day 4, you're going to hit a new deadlift PR, and you're not going to do any accessory exercises. But the rest of the week you just rest, leading up to day 4 when you hit a PR. And there we go, that's the program. Oh my gosh, that was kind of brutal. And here's another sheet that I've got for you, just explaining in a bit more detail about the percentages and everything like that. If you want to check that out, you can, but I think I've just explained it it's pretty straightforward and self-explanatory with my walkthrough now. You should be able to get it. My thoughts on this program, I would probably rate it maybe a 4 out of 10. I think that you would be better if this is the sort of style of training you want to do. I would advise that you choose a conjugate style of training. There are much better versions out here that you can get online for free. Even on my website I've got some stuff. I'm going to launch my own conjugate style training program very soon. That will be on my website. You can download for free. Donations are accepted, just however small, it doesn't matter. And my program is much better than this, and it's free. And I'll say that safely, even on the web I will say that categorically. It's much better than this. So if you are going to run this program, I don't want to say it, but you should really buy the Lilliebridge book from their website, which I'll put a link below, and that might give you a little bit more information about the program that I haven't talked about on here, or I just decided to skip because I thought it was a waste of time. But it might be something that you want to know, so maybe that's something you can do. Running this program, obviously it's definitely not a beginner's program. I wouldn't say it's an early stage intermediate program. There are some advanced training techniques in here, like pause press. You've got variations like slingshot, board pressing, pausing. You're doing maybe some speed pulls, some dynamic stuff, maybe with some bands and chains. You've got variations like the front squat, pendlay rows. There are some things on here that are definitely not for beginners. not necessary for beginners or early stage intermediate lifters. I'd say this is sort of a later stage intermediate lifter to advanced lifter, but yeah, I wouldn't rate it as one of my best programs that I've reviewed. I'd put it probably as the worst one I've ever reviewed. I'd say it was a good 4 out of 10, and it is probably the worst program I've ever come across in my life to date. And bearing in mind, this you have to pay for, so as well, it's going to cost you. So I wouldn't rate this very highly, but I do rate the Lilliebridge family and the lifters and the brothers. All of them are fantastic powerlifters. They've got the stats to pull it off, but this program just ain't cutting it. It doesn't do them justice at all. So that's my thoughts on that. Thanks for watching this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Check out the link below where you can download this program and find out more about the Lilliebridge family. Give it a thumbs up again if you do enjoy it. That really helps the channel. Subscribing really helps the channel as well. Donations, however small, always welcome. It goes towards funding the channel. I had to buy a new microphone because my old microphone went broke. I had to buy a new laptop, so these donations go towards that. So thank you very much. Have a great day. Keep lifting, stay strong, never give up.